how's it going? Welcome back to Seed to Plate channel. I could probably take this kind of ridiculous hat off, although it's kind of my favorite thing ever. So, we are out here this morning. I wanted to film a little bit of the process, but I wasn't able to because some of my plot neighbors came, and you know, we like to respect people's privacy here at the community garden. So, we harvested onions and potatoes that left about half the plot completely empty. And it really needed to be taken care of so that it didn't completely come overgrown with weeds. The way that I keep my plants so green and so healthy is that I amend my beds after I pull things, and I always mulch. So, let me show you what we've done so far. Okay, so this is where our onions were. We pulled that very large pile of weeds. And we pulled all of that, and then we used a pitchfork to aerate. You can also use a broad fork. I do not till, so I do no till, and the pitchfork just really helps get the new compost like deep down into the ground, but it also helps put oxygen into the soil. Also, is this not the happiest thing you've ever seen? Because it is to me. So we got all of that done on this side, and then we also did that side where the potatoes were. So all of this is freshly mulched, freshly composted. These tomatoes are becoming a jungle, but we'll talk about that later this week. I think we're approaching potential camera overheating weather. Okay, so we got all of that cleared. I've applied sunscreen twice. We'll see how that helped me, if it did. But this video is about getting the summer garden planted. So here in Texas, our spring gardens actually happen like March through June, July, if you're lucky. Based on how hot it is here already, I'm gonna go ahead and say we are not gonna be lucky this season. Oh my God. Okay, yeah, we're putting the hat back on. So, what I'm doing is I'm planting heat-loving fruits and vegetables. So, we will talk about that when we're at the house. I, at this very moment in time, need to cool off, but I wanted to show you how I prep my beds in terms of getting them ready for new plants. So, it is so hot. I am so sweaty. So I do want to tell you guys what kind of compost and what kind of mulch I use. I feel like that's always a really interesting thing to hear from other gardeners. So I do not use straw mulch because I have an allergy to gluten, and I don't care to ingest a bunch of wheat and grass particles into my nose. So I really like using shredded cedar mulch. So cedar is native to Texas. There's a company that makes shredded cedar mulch here in Texas. And then the compost is actually from a citywide program. We have compost bins that we can actually set out once a week. And so they organize all of that compost. It's composted organically, and the city sells it. So it's this really cool, closed circuit recycling type of a situation that I really support. Y'all, I didn't eat breakfast, and it's a wonder I didn't pass out. It's like 95 degrees out right now. Yeah. So, we'll see you back at home, we'll talk varieties, and then we'll see you later this week when we actually plant all of our seeds. Okay, y'all, we are back home. Feeling good. Showered, ate, made a homemade pico de gallo with my first jalapeno of the season. That was nice. Had a margarita. That was also nice. I now can't feel the pain in my back. Adult decisions. I want to show you guys something before we start looking at the seed varieties that I will be planting later this week. So y'all, my grandma makes quilts, and this was the quilt she made for me this year. It says, "Wherever life plants you, bloom with grace." And she knows that sunflowers are one of my favorite things to grow, and it's got all of these beautiful patches of just plants, and I love putting this on our guest bed. Anyways, let's talk about what we're planting in the heat-loving summer garden. Okay guys, so we have our big seed organizer and I am looking for a couple of things. I am looking for melons, and I am looking for okra. That's not a good sign. My melon seeds that I wanted to plant are not in here. Just had seeds everywhere and you can't find what you're looking for? Me either. Found it. Never fear. We have all of our desired seeds. So let's talk quickly about heat
loving fruits and vegetables. So there will be 3 things going in the community garden plot once we take out the beans and the garlic. So I have 2 spots available right now. I have that shorter spot and then I have a much larger spot. So here's a fun fact about me. And if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know this. I don't like watermelon. I know, I'm crazy. However, I love cantaloupes. So we are going to be growing a couple of things. I got these Kajari melon seeds from a seed swap. So we're going to be growing Kajari melons. We are going to be growing honey rock melons, which are a type of cantaloupe. Now I am going to grow a type of watermelon. However, this is a yellow fleshed moon and stars watermelon. So this is a yellow watermelon and we'll see how it is. It's not that I hate watermelon. I'll eat it. It's just not like, I don't get like excited about it, if that makes sense. I do have these seeds. They're royal golden watermelons and they look like a smaller personal melon. So I also might try and grow these. We will see. So I have 4 types of melons and honestly, I think I'm going to actually replace my zucchini in the backyard with melons. So I have to figure out which melons I want in the backyard and then which ones I want in the community plot. I'm kind of leaning towards my more personal sized melons. So the Gajari melon and the golden royal or royal golden melon here at the house. And then at the community plot, I think I'm going to do the bigger melons. So that's the plan for melons. Now melons, they do love the heat. They just need water. I mean, it's hot, they need water, but they're not gonna like completely shrivel up and die. So that takes care of melons. And then okra. So if you don't like okra, first I'm gonna need you to grow up. I'm just kidding. Some people don't like okra because it's slimy. Now, obviously fried okra is amazing. You can put anything in some batter and fry it and it's gonna be good. But okra has a very deep-rooted history, not only in the US, but also in the South. So I encourage you to try okra. Okra is really good in dishes. I have a Carolina chicken and rice dish that I make that has okra and a bunch of other vegetables. Kind of like a one-pot dish where everything cooks together, and actually the okra, the sliminess from the okra provides this like really nice sauce, almost like you would get with like a cornstarch. Like it acts as a thickening agent. So I love okra personally. It freezes really well. I love making gumbo in the winter. So if I can keep some okra on hand to make some gumbo, I love doing that. So the types of okra that I'll be growing this year are red burgundy, some red burgundy okra, Clemson spineless, a classic. Also, I kind of just want to get rid of these seeds, and then honestly, I'm going to be buying different okra seeds next year, and then Jing orange. Now, here's the funny thing. I said I'm going to buy seeds next year, but maybe I won't, because I saved a lot of seeds from okra. So this was part of my seeds for last year, and I put them in this leftover prescription pill bottle, and they are like completely dried and ready to use. However, oh, I lost one. Well, whoever stays in our guest bed next is gonna have an okra seed to find. So the thing about this is these are not separated. I have no idea which one's which. So that's unfortunate. But I will be planting okra in the community garden, and the reason I'm doing okra in the community garden is it can take some abuse. It can take, if I need to miss a day watering or whatever, okra can totally take it. The only thing that you have to be careful about okra is there's a very small window of time that they are like nicely edible. It's when they're like a little bit bigger than like right when they first start out, because the way that okra grows is it flowers, this beautiful flower. Actually, there's a picture right here. So it flowers like this, okay? And then the flower closes, and within, I kid you not, 24 to 48 hours, you have a okra that is ready to be picked. So okra does need to be harvested fairly often, which is probably the only potential issue with it, being far away at the community plot. I did okra here in the backyard last year, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm hoping that with a little more sun, because my backyard gets about 6, maybe 7 hours if I'm lucky, and the community plot gets like 10. I'm hoping my okra is just gonna freaking explode. So we will be growing those 3 varieties, and maybe once I have more space and I don't, maybe I'll just plant these. I don't know. And then the third thing I'll be planting for a summer garden at the community garden plot are sweet potatoes. So it's okay if you plant these a little bit late actually. So the way you get sweet potatoes, so like with a regular potato, which I just did a video on, with a regular potato, you get a potato and you wait till it sprouts and then you plant the whole potato in the ground. And that's how you grow a potato. With sweet potatoes, a little bit different. So sweet potatoes, I will show you guys how I'm doing it. That is how you grow sweet potato slips. Also, I just found the okra seed, so whoever sleeps in our bed next doesn't need to look for it. So, sweet potato slips. So you want to soak your sweet potatoes, and I just bought organic sweet potatoes at the store. There's a purple one, there's 2 regular like orange sweet potatoes, and then I have another one that's like a white fleshed, more of like a yam. So you soak them in water and you put them in a sunny spot, and then they'll start to sprout and grow what are called slips. So then we'll kind of go through this in a few weeks. It's probably going to be a couple of weeks before I can get these planted out, but that's okay. So with the sweet potatoes, that's how you like grow your slips. There's not really a way to do it otherwise. I don't think it would be smart to put the whole sweet potato in the ground because it would lead to a really reduced harvest. Basically each little eye of the sweet potato, it's gonna grow its own individual slip, and then you'll cut those slips off and then you'll plant those slips individually, and that's where your sweet potato plant will go. And sweet potatoes are like incredibly used to the heat. I believe I'll have to double check this, but sweet potatoes are indigenous to like really hot parts of the world. So it's a very, very traditional food for somewhere like Africa, and places that are really hot. So melons, okra, sweet potatoes, all things that are going to be really, really good to grow in a super hot summer garden. You'll have your other stuff too, like peppers, and your tomatoes will hold on for a little bit, but we'll plant all of this together later in the week.
Hey guys, how's it going? Today is planting day for all of our heat-loving things. We're gonna plant melons, or I don't know why I've been calling them melons lately, but it's fine. We're gonna do melons, and then we're also going to do our okra. So let me show you how I direct sow seeds. This was something I was asked a while ago by a viewer, so if you're out there, I hope you see this, because direct sowing seeds is great, and if you've got enough light, it's the way to go. So let's get planting. Okay guys, so the space I have for planting is this shorter space, and then I have that bigger space. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna do 3 rows of okra. They don't mind being a little packed in. So we're gonna do 3 rows of okra right here, and they'll get nice and tall. And then our melons, we're actually, look at all those beautiful flowers. Oh, so our melons, we're actually gonna do over in this much larger space. And then we'll shove in our sweet potato slips in the middle once we get those. So we'll start with the melons. With your melons, the melon vines are gonna go insane. That is actually a melon vine from my neighbor's plot. So this is what a melon vine looks like, and it will completely take over. I'm sorry, Charles, but your melon cannot live here. Oh, that's a weed. So, I got it. Okay, so I am going to put my melons as close to the middle as I can so that they can vine out here. They will likely still move their way into that abandoned plot, but that's okay. But that's kind of how you want to do this. Now, when you direct sow, if you're doing things close together, you're gonna wanna pre-moisten your soil. So you're gonna wanna get your soil nice and wet so that when you water everything in, you're not moving the seeds around. So I'm gonna put these pretty far apart, but I'm gonna put them as close to the middle as I can. So we have our honey rock melon, and then we have our yellow fleshed moon and stars watermelon. So what we're gonna do is we're just going to, the soil's nice and loose because we just picked potatoes. you basically want to plant a few seeds. So I don't know how old these seeds are because I got them in a seed swap. So I'm gonna plant 3 of them, and then I'll just pull whichever ones don't come up. So I'm just gonna go 1, 2, 3, and then just kind of cover them. I wanna move the mulch so that they don't have as much to kind of break through, but you just want to plant them pretty, not completely shallow, but a little bit shallow. I think one of the rules of thumb that people tell you to do is to plant a seed, I think it's like twice as deep as it is wide. I don't know about you guys, but I'm bad at math and geometry, so I don't really do that. And these should pop up pretty fast. Also, these seeds are pretty new this year, so I'm actually only gonna plant 2 of them. And the thing is, your seeds are gonna germinate with proper moisture and proper sunlight and temperature. So for example, you're supposed to direct sow when you're above 70 degrees, which we are well above 70 degrees. So I'm not too worried about things there. So those are our melons. Let's go direct seed our okra. It looks like I left my gardening knife at home. That's fine. So with stuff like this, where I'm planting things in rows, also I forgot a weed the other day. So for stuff like this, where I'm planting in rows, I like to make a row. And you can do this with your hands, you can do this with the soil, whatever you want. And I like to move away my mulch because I'm a big believer in mulch. And so I like to just make this nice little row and just make my life easy. And then we'll just plant in this row and have lots of okra. Okay. Also, this gives me the ability to pull any weeds. So with okra, okra does get pretty big, but it also grows up. And also, if you live in a drier climate, then soaking your okra seeds can help them germinate. We live in such a humid environment that it's not super necessary. So okra likes to have some space. So we're gonna do 1 seed about every 12 inches. So since this is what I have to use, this is about 12 inches long. I'm gonna come a little farther than that, and we're gonna go 18 inches. And these seeds germinated pretty well for me last year, so I'm not too worried about like planting more than 1 seed. So we're just gonna plant every 18 inches. We'll water this in, and then we will do the other 2 rows. So remember, you don't have to necessarily use fresh seeds every year. Oh, we're gonna just stick that one somewhere because it already got dirt on it. Y'all, there's more people showing up to do their morning watering, so I'm gonna cut this short, but that is how you're gonna direct sow your late summer garden. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you still enjoy gardening even when it's super hot. It can still be really enjoyable as long as you plant the right things at the right time. So thanks so much for watching. Happy gardening. We'll see you next time.